You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun. We're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another awesome episode of Ask Drone U. My name is Paul.
And I'm Rob, and you're listening to episode number 398. Thank you very much, as always, for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. We really do.
Yes, we really do. And today's episode is brought to you by two people. Number one, GPC. Rick is reading our new book right now. I think he's enjoying it. I think he's having.
He is?
Yeah.
You had him do that, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
cool. He's given me some really good feedback. I mean, really good stuff. So I want to say special thanks to GPC.
Yeah,
They've always helped us out. But also today's episode is brought to you by the Drone U community. If you're thinking about starting a drone business, or maybe you're just really enthused with drones, or maybe you just want to buy a drone and you don't want to waste that investment, well, you've come to the right place, because the Drone U community is the one area where you can get online courses, resources, and links from all over organized in one place, but also you get a community of people who are like-minded, willing to learn, ask questions, get constructive criticism, and so much more. It's an area where you can really interact and engage with other like-minded people. That way, you can lower your learning curve, but also gain the competitive advantage. Stay on top of everything, including the industry as a whole, so that way you can ensure success. So if you want to ensure your success, go to thedroneu.com and become a member. Anyway, Rob, I just love our community. I don't really need to talk about it too much, but I got to plug it every once in a while.
It's fun to talk about. It's a great group of people, and it's growing like crazy, which is so much fun.
It really is.
It's really cool to see all the new people that are in there. Experienced pilots, experienced business people, brand new business people. People that have been doing other businesses, or not businesses, but they've been in a career for years and years and years, and now they're starting to do something that they really think they'll love doing every single day. So it's just really cool to be a part of. I know we talk about it a lot, but heck, it's our podcast.
It is, and that's why we're going to get into our questions.
That's right.
Hi, I'm Nathan. I'm from Central Iowa. I just started listening to your podcast not that long ago. I love them. Keep them coming. But I'm wondering, how do you determine that it's time to upgrade your drone? I fly with a Phantom 3 standard, and I'm really thinking I want to take a step up to an Inspire. But of course, that is a lot of money. But in all reality, rather than just upgrading to the Phantom 4, why not spend a little more to get the Inspire? So I guess I don't know what your input is on it, but thanks for all the podcasts you guys put out, and good luck to everybody else that's out there trying to get into the industry like me.
Yeah, great question, and actually succinctly stated, but actually a lot in there. And I thought maybe we start out, Paul, with why not just the P4 instead of the Inspire? Because I know you really, really like the P4.
I do really, really like the P4, but there's some sort of innate stability with the Inspire. I mean, the weight by itself offers just stability that you can fly in windier conditions. You can get better footage in windy conditions. And really, as a practical standpoint, you have more days of the week that you can work. So a lot of days, especially out here in the Southwest, you're not going to be able to fly because the Phantom just can't handle the wind, period.
Okay.
But also there's an innate sense, when I said innate sense of stability, I really do mean that. It may take you a few passes to get something just perfect on a Phantom 4. With an Inspire, though, I mean, with the functionality of the app control,
it's the power,
the dual operator control. You've got a lot bigger motors, a lot bigger push and lift.
Yeah.
And that weight of that, big battery really does just add like this almost this pendulum effect, so that the drone is always searching for a stable point,
Right.
Whereas most of the weight in the Phantom is above the camera, when the legs articulate up in the Inspire, you really do get that pendulum effect. So, your drone is always searching for stable and level flight.
Incredible engineering.
Oh yeah, I mean
because obviously that you're speaking about was thought out to achieve that.
Totally. Andrew and I from Honeywell one time, we were talking, and he was saying that his coworkers are just like, the amount of aviation engineering that was put into this thing was just unprecedented before the Inspire came out.
Yeah,
So
it's incredible.
They kept it under wraps pretty well.
Yeah, they did. So all of that said, you still love the P4. What do you love about the P4? And when do you use the P4 relative to the Inspire?
I use the P4 for photos.
Okay.
I use the Inspire for all of my video, but I don't have that many batteries for the P4 just because I normally only use one battery to get all my photos, which is funny too. I've been realizing that now that batteries last so long, you really waste a lot of time like getting to your shots instead of just filming. But anyway, I use the P4 for photos. I love the glass on the P4. But this is all about to change because I ordered the new Z3. It'll be here tomorrow. Very excited about that. It has the same glass that the P4 does. Whoa. So I'm expecting these really sharp, super crispy images. We're actually going to have Vic Moss, an award-winning professional HDR photographer, on the show to talk about the Z3. You guys will be hearing about that.
You're going to love hearing from him.
Yeah, definitely.
Just an incredible amount of knowledge on this stuff.
Totally. But the P4 has it's very crispy. You get a lot sharper images. You get more detail in the edges of the photo. You have less distortion, better color, a little bit more contrast. I mean, overall, what they did with the lens on the P4 is just leaps and bounds beyond the X3 on the Inspire 1.
Right.
Not the Z3, the X3.
Gotcha.
So I just want to make that clear. The Phantom 4, though, I mean, you got to remember, too, the guy who asked the question, he's only got a Phantom 3 standard. So when he moves up into Lightbridge, he's going to have a better signal. He's going to have more distance, more capability. Don't go into sport mode, though. I would recommend a lot of people, really get acquainted with the Phantom before you go into sport mode, because sport mode is like attitude mode on steroids.
Absolutely. Okay, so moving on. What questions should Nathan be asking himself while he's deciding whether to move up to a P4 or an Inspire 1?
How often do I want to be able to work? Because there's still that same dynamic between the P4 and the Inspire 1. And the Inspire 1, you can just simply work more. If the Inspire 1 is on sale right now. We expect the Inspire 2 to come out mid-September. I won't be here, though. I will be in the Bahamas, sadly, for about 2 weeks.
Aww.
Anyway, but Rob is actually saving our money to buy an Inspire 2, so I know he's going to order it right from the DJI website as soon as it comes out.
Yep.
So by the time I come back, it'll be here, and we could do a review on it. But you do have an opportunity to save a boatload of money and just buy an Inspire 1, and an Inspire 1 can do everything that you need it to do to take care of clients. And I think his question too, was at what point in time do I need to consider buying a new drone? And that's something we haven't talked about, because for me, it's about what are my clients seeking and how does that pair up to what the competition could provide. Now, I have a level of skill that most of my competition can't touch. So I have that kind of competitive advantage. But if I wasn't using the best drone and someone was using a better drone at the same price point, offering AKA a better deliverable than what I was able to deliver, that's, I'm going to be thinking about that. Like, okay, how do I constantly maintain that edge against my competition?
Yeah, so that's one of the questions he needs to ask is what are his flight skills relative to his competition? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, what is his equipment relative to his competition?
But those kind of go hand in hand.
Yes, they do. And again, that being said, for me, I'm trying to upgrade a drone once a year, because that way I'll have a backup. It'll be recent enough that it's usable as a backup.
Right.
And Rob, help us understand here, how can we actually plan to make a purchase of a new drone every year if we don't necessarily have the money? Because can we build it into our jobs? I mean, how should we do this? Because I feel that every drone operator should plan to buy a new drone every year, period.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody in their business should be doing some annual planning that you look at as you go through the year. I think a mistake that people make is a lot of people won't even do the annual plan, but those that do, they do the annual plan, maybe spend a day or two on it and spend some real quality time, but then they never go back to it and look at it, and it just kind of becomes a forgotten piece of paper that they dealt with, which was probably some really good stuff that they need to be paying attention to. But you're absolutely right. I think as part of that plan, you need to be thinking ahead about the type of jobs that you plan to go get. Maybe you want to start doing more commercial type stuff. By commercials, I mean, I don't know, you did a commercial for a shoe manufacturer. Maybe you're looking at doing things like that, or maybe you're content with real estate. So maybe if that's the case, the amount of money that you decide to set aside is less because you can get by with the Phantom series, perhaps.
And I just want to make a quick. I want to take a quick second, because the whole breaking into TV and film production is very difficult, and a lot of people just go out and buy this equipment, and then they end up selling it and losing their butt on it. And I know a lot of people who have done that.
Yeah.
And all the shoots that I've done for TV, movie, and film have been Inspire 1, X5, X5R. And, there are shoots that are totally sold on using an M600, with a red camera and all that.
It's because it sounds good.
But you really have to make sure that you have the contacts and the jobs lined up before you just dump all that money. Because you're talking $15,000 for a solid rig.
Yeah.
And that does not even include the camera.
Right.
A Scarlet Red's $25,000.
Right.
Red Weapon Forged is $85,000.
Wow. So yeah, obviously we're not talking about those kind of rigs, but we are talking about an Inspire 1, maybe an Inspire 2. I think for Nathan, we're probably talking about an Inspire 1. But, I don't think it's that complicated. I mean, you can certainly put it into your jobs if you're going to get that complex with the way that you price out jobs and, kind of act like a contractor, and you've got overhead and you've got maintenance on your equipment and those kinds of things. You just have to be aware, I think, of the fact that you're going to need new equipment and plan for it. I think a very practical way to do that is simply to set up a separate account and
Just
put
a
money into that
savings account.
Yeah.
So to say all right, Inspire is going to cost me $2,000 because that's what it costs right now.
Right.
$2,000. Case is going to be $400 with the drone you discount from GPC. Then your batteries are $160 or $200 a piece, depending on that. So you're spending, $3,500, $4,000, which is good.
Right.
It used to be like $8,000, $9,000. I mean, that's kind of what we went into it with. But I will say, if we were to look at kind of a sliding scale of capability, the Phantom is really at the beginning of the scale with less capability, but an awful lot compared to not having a drone at all.
Right.
And then you look at the Inspire and its capability as far as what jobs you can perform in what types of weather conditions and environments and whatnot is like triple to quadruple the Phantom. So if you imagine the scale, Phantom's over here, and like from me to the end of your microphone tip is the Inspire.
Yeah.
And then from the microphone tip to the edge of the frame of this video, I would say would be like your M600 or S1000. But you really do get the most capability out of the Inspire 1.
It's probably the most versatile.
A great point.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely. So all that being said, when we're saving for this, should we build that into each job or just have this general amount that we should save each month, and then depending on what jobs we get in that month, we put money away towards that? I mean, what is the best way to do it here? And you're talking really about amortizing the cost of a new drone, right?
Yeah, essentially. There are people that do this with new cars. For example, they don't like to have car debt, so they'll buy a new car, and then instead of making a payment on that car, they'll make a payment to a savings account. And then when it comes time to replace that car, they've got cash to go pay for the car, and they don't have to pay the interest for it. So I really think of it in those same kind of terms. And you asked the question about should I be doing it per job? I probably wouldn't, because you don't know what job you're going to have 6 months from now. That's kind of a fluid process. You might have 4 this month and 0 next month, but you don't know what you're going to have when you get to the end of the year.
Gotcha.
So you're trying to take that $4,000 number, and again, these are very simplistic terms, but I think it can work for most folks. You're going to take that $4,000 number, and you've got to divide it into something. If you try to do it by job, you don't really know how many jobs you're going to have over the year. So how do you decide how much per job to put
I'm
aside?
glad you got that, because people have been asking that question. So I'm glad you addressed that.
I would just say 4,000 divided by 12, do it by month. And if you have a big month, maybe you put 300 that month. Maybe the next month you put less. So I think I would probably handle it that way personally, be it personal or business, frankly. Anyways, what's Paul doing? Pulled out the phone.
Siri, what's 4,000 divided by 12?
It's about 333.3333.
3333.
There you go. So maybe I should restate
It's
what I
your
said.
333 exemption in dollars.
No, we should have used a different number. I should restate that. If you have a really big month, maybe you put 500 away instead of 300.
I like that idea.
Then 300 you're under. But anyways, you get the point.
Or if you have a good month, you just pay $1,000 and buy the Z3.
That's what Paul would do. So when you,
let me rephrase that. That's what Paul did.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. So you get to the end of the year and need to buy that new drone, and Paul's like, I need to go get a job. not like a real job. I need to go do a job. And in his case, he could. So
You're
that
funny.
would probably work.
You're very funny. I like that. You just reminded me too. I got to make my car payment. So thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. That's what he sees the bean counter and he starts thinking about
I'm like,
everything he has
money,
to pay.
money. The things I try not to think about.
That's funny. Oh man, but I still think we've answered the question. I really want to help him and others understand when they should even make the jump to a new drone. I mean, you could certainly say just every year plan on it.
Well, yeah, that is the general simplistic way to go about it. But for me, it's really like, what is my competition using? What are their skills?
Okay.
What am I providing to my client? What is my client happy with? Mm-hmm. And my client is still happy with 1080 video, like most everyone else. But what I do is I always shoot 4K and just downgrade it.
Okay.
I absolutely love the Inspire 1. It can do everything for me. I still don't even own an X5. We just rent one whenever we need one for a big shoot.
Yeah.
I've got the lenses for it because we use a Z camera for our studio cameras, so we use all the lenses for those on the X5. Works out great. Anyway, that being said, it really is for me clients. It's all fixed around my clients. What can I deliver for my clients? And right now, everyone's really happy. So I'm not planning on upgrading until the Inspire 2, but I had a feeling way before we knew for sure it was coming that we would see an Inspire 2 in September. And now that we know we're going to see one, that's going to be my next big upgrade.
Okay. So to summarize, you really have to have the pulse of the market that you're most plugged into and kind of know what your competition is using. True. And adjust accordingly, maybe even try to stay a little bit ahead of that. True. If you're able to, if you're busy enough and you have enough revenue. So, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I think you would probably tell Nathan, if at all possible, do the Inspire. Yep. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say get the Inspire. I would say buy it right now. This is like the smart time of year to buy a drone. Some people may be like, oh, but I'm getting the Inspire 2 and all the hype. You're the smart person because you did not buy the Inspire 2 when it's going to be the most expensive. You're buying the Inspire 1, which is upgradable. You can put 3 different cameras on it, 4 different cameras now. So it's smart financially.
And by the way, there's a lot of solid hours by pilots like Paul on the Inspire 1, and they're very happy.
Yeah, it's every time I fly that thing, it's like pure zen. In fact, I should probably leave and go fly. So
you should.
I'm a little frustrated.
You need a break.
I need a break from life.
Don't we all?
107 is really. Last week I was in here every night. Very late.
Say, well, day and night. I will say, Paul is happiest, as probably most of you are, and I guess many of us are, but especially Paul, when he's out flying, right? And there was a long stretch of time where you were in this room working on that 107 thing. So yeah, go fly. Right now.
I'm ready to. And you know what? On that bombshell, I'm just going to go fly. And I hope you do the same today. And if you like this podcast, if it's helped you out, please leave us a review. Stitcher, we only have a couple reviews, but iTunes, we've got a lot. And that's really helped other people find the podcast. It's actually greatly increased our downloads. So thank you. Please, 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 if you do write a review, send it to us. Let us know. We'll send you a swag bag. They are getting filled up with a little Drone U swag. They're full of DJI stuff. DJI sends us stuff all the time to give away to you guys. So anyway, guys, thank you again so much. That's going to do it for us today. My name is Paul.
I'm Rob.
This is Ask Drone U.